Nations of the world hate the Jews mostly because we hate ourselves, and we're the cause. In many of the cases, there is anti-Semitism in Europe, and anti-Semitism is starting to come here to the United States, but eventually, when you're looking almost anywhere where you find anti-Semitism, you will find somewhere there a Jew who's responsible for all of these things. Of course, where does this come from? That there is this oppositeness. And how do you see, what kind of possibility do you see for there to be a state of true connection in the world between people? That's only on condition that they will keep what is said in the wisdom of Kabbalah, because it is the basis, not the modern Judaism as we know it after the destruction of the temple, how it developed. But we're talking about the foundation of the method of Abraham that connected people from Babylon, and he gave them the basis for the nation, the basis of love another as thyself, to be in mutual guarantee as one man and one heart, and all that by correctly using the foundations of true Judaism, not what we know as Judaism for the past 2,000 years. We have to understand what our roots are, and to understand then that whatever happens, the nation, the Jews here, I'm not talking about them at all. They're also all shattered after the shattering, all hate each other. I'm not talking about them. Everyone, one way or another, all around the world, are expecting connection. And there is no other method of how to connect, and no one else talks about it, besides the source of the Torah, which is the Torah of truth, which is the wisdom of Kabbalah. Therefore, I have no doubt that by this, and also we're trying to carry it out in our groups, and we see that it is possible. You're saying the same things as Mr. Tenenbom says regarding how Jews behave and their attitude towards Judaism, and that their Judaism is... I'm not expecting any more of them. But also, you claim that the nations of the world, even if they don't say it out loud, they themselves don't know. So I'm asking you, they don't know why they hate the Jews, but they feel that they hate Jews because of something. This hatred is something that dates back to ancient Babylon, meaning it's rooted in human nature. It's the spiritual force that exists in everyone. Look, if we examine the hate that the world has and towards Israel, we can see that there's wall-to-wall hate. It's enough to see how the UN hates Israel. Why is Israel so isolated? Why is there such an attitude towards Israel and Jews on part of all the countries in the world? The hate, it differs from place to place. I see its root coming from Christianity. And along with it, also the Jews themselves, they're the ones that incite the hate against themselves. In the United States, until 10 or 20 years ago, most of the public loved the Jews, even the Christians, because Christianity here is a bit different than Christianity in Europe. The Christian community here, especially the evangelists, they were pro-Israel. Today it's changing. Today you see that even in the red countries, meaning in the non-conservative countries like Dakota and so on, you see that the generation of the parents still love Israel, but the sons hate them. And who's inciting against Israel? Who's talking against Israel on the news all the time? The Jews. United States was different than all other nations, and it was interesting. But it changed, and it's changing now, before our own eyes. So I'm asking you, Dr. Lightman, why all of the nations, unexceptionally, and also the United States, as Mr. Tenenbom said, hate the Jews? The more we are drawn, the more humanity develops as a result of our growing ego, and therefore is raising us to higher and higher levels, and prosperity, and education, and all these things, and the acquisition of knowledge, the greater the ego inside the people, the greater the hate will be towards Israel, because we are not enjoying the extent of our growing ego, but we suffer more and more from this world that's not giving us the right answer, and subconsciously all of the nations of the world start feeling that the source of their lack of their success are the Jews. But what does it have to do, the growing of the ego, with Israel? Because the Jews have the method of how to correct the world. As pleasant or unpleasant to hear it is, that's called tikkun olam, the correction of the world. Jews have to bring light to the world by having to show everyone how to be connected in a good and nice way. And this is what they have to do. And the world subconsciously, one way or another, feels a need for it, even though they're not aware of it, but it doesn't matter. But to this day, we're giving the very opposite example of self-hate, and therefore the hate towards us only goes and grows. Meaning, the self-hate of Jews causes the nations of the world to hate us. The more we hate ourselves, the nations of the world hate us. But really, tikkun olam, let's say the resurrection of this concept, regardless of how people understand it, until not long ago, no one talked about it, and suddenly, yes. Why? Because we've reached a general global crisis where everyone's interdependent. We're in a state where our ego has grown to a degree where it does not allow us to keep on living. We want to immerse ourselves in drugs and so on, and we're reaching a state where people are as if redundant in this world. And we have no choice. We have reached the final state. The wisdom of Kabbalah speaks about it a lot, and scientists and everyone. We have reached the end of our egoistic development. Our ego is now becoming round. It's no longer pulling us forward. It's not advancing us, and therefore we have to answer the question of what is the meaning of life. And what can we say? Here, this question of what is the meaning of life starts awakening in every person in the world, and then for some reason, on the inside, through his inner root, he as if feels that it has to do with that this is something that Israel are obligated to. Mr. Tenenbom, you dedicated your entire life to disclose this animality, this psychological disorder among the Jews. From this point on, how would you like, what would you like, or what would be a good outcome of all of the work that you've invested in for so many years? Like I started saying, that I speak before many non-Jewish people, and when we talk about anti-Semitism, I tell them things that no one tells them. It's not something, ingenious. If we're talking about human rights, you're forgetting that Jews are also human beings. I'm giving them examples of what they're doing against Jews to the simple people, and people accept it. I was in Leipzig. I talked to 350 peoples of 20 years old about anti-Semitism, about what the German government is giving to different organizations within Israel to go against Jews. They never heard a Jew speak to them in such simple words, direct words, simple words. And I can't forget that a person came up, a young person, he took the mic and said, I did not know, he said, that this is what's going on, that this is what we're doing. And now that I've heard this, tomorrow I'm getting on a plane, I'm flying to Israel, and I'm going to join the IDF. It's not what I wanted him to do, but it's just an example of what words can say. I'm one person, I can't do much more than I can do, but if there will be many more people that will do it, for the state of Israel to educate a generation of people to give some better explanation to the world. I understand you very, very well, and I'm very happy that I found a Jew that has a warm Jewish heart, that is really concerned, and it hurts and pains him what's going on, that invested his entire life in changing the people and changing the attitude among the Jews towards the nations of the world. I wish you lots of luck and health and all the best. I really hope that this will make a change in the world. Dr. Leitman, but what would you like to see? I would like to see the Jews like he sees them. Then we'd really change the world. Thank you very much. I learned a lot from you. Thank you, but if it's okay, we'll send you some of our sources. Warm hugs and come visit us in Israel. Mr. Tenenbom, thank you very much, and lots of luck with the book and with everything. Lies that everyone tells, the lies they tell. It's very important for many people to know. Thank you very much for all of your time. Good luck. Thank you very much, Dr. Leitman. And thank you for being with us on this very special show, Like a Bundle of Reeds. All the best.